Oh, fuck. What 10 forward is this?
15.
Thank you.
15?
Guten Tag, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, 10 forward number 15.
What? We didn't announce this one either.
Total Recall. That's why I did Guten Tag, because that's also how they say hello in Austria, I think. I hope.
Yeah. I mean they speak German there, so would that would track.
Yeah.
Also, the Guten Tag comes out better than the hello in terms of just punching me in the face, so...
Yeah, it's hard to do a big punchy Guten Tag. Like, it's not as...
You'll find a way, Chris. If anyone will find a way, it's you.
unlike life.
So we're doing Total Recall, you say?
Yes.
That's exciting. That's a great movie.
1980 film.
1990.
Mm-hmm.
The 1990 action film directed by Paul Verhoeven of RoboCop fame.
Dun 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 dun. I am a robot cop.
I wish he had brought back Basil Polidaros, but we'll get to that.
I don't know
Based
what any of that means.
loosely on the Philip K. Dick novella or novel, I can't remember which. We can
Novella.
remember it.
Short
novella.
story.
Short story. We can
Very
remember.
short.
We can remember it for you wholesale. In the film, Arnold plays Quaid, a guy with a menial construction job who dreams of going to Mars, and you're like, it's dumb. And then he goes to Recall, spelled with a K for some reason. And
Are you synopsizing before we've introduced ourselves, Chris?
Oh,
Hey, who
fuck,
are you
I
guys?
am.
Why am I here?
Who the fuck are you?
Do I know you?
This is not a game of who the fuck are you.
I am Chris.
This is Ames.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Liz.
Great.
Liz is back.
Gasp.
Hooray, hello Liz.
You're not rid of me yet.
So Arnie goes to Recall, and they're like, we'll implant dreams of a Mars vacation where you're a secret agent. And then maybe he is, maybe he isn't, because then they're like, oh no, he's already had his memory played with at some point. It's making him go all wacky. And then his buddy from the construction site is all, I gotta kill you now, because you're remembering things. He flees to Mars, and Jellicoe / that dude from RoboCop is there. And he basically owns all the air and the mining concerns. And there's some sort of secret deep within Mars that could loosen his grip on power. And
The
it turns
secret
out
is tits.
I thought we weren't synopsizing. What the hell's happening?
She said to do a sentence, and then I fucked up.
And then you did a page.
Yes, and then, there's action scenes and mutants, and Arnie pushes a button, and Mars gets insta-terraformed.
And there's
Cool.
lots of eyeballs popping out of heads and shit.
Ooh, yeah.
I am a cop. I am a RoboCop.
Fun fact, actually, they were planning a sequel,
Yes.
which they would have loosely adapted from the story that would become Minority Report.
Yeah. And would have, if they had done the original stories, it would have involved Jonathan Frakes in some way.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That I did
Total
not know.
Recall 2.
I would much rather have Jonathan Frakes than fucking Tom Cruise or whoever it is in Minority Report.
Tom-
He's
I
Good
don't
in
know.
Minority
Tom Cruise is a
Report.
way better
Crazy.
actor than Jonathan Frakes.
Who is?
Tom Cruise.
No way.
You think Jonathan Frakes, who played Captain Riker on Star Trek The Next Generation, and who played Tom Riker on Star Trek The Next Generation and one episode of this stupid show, you think that guy, that actor, who also played the fat guy in
Picard?
Star Trek Picard,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I
the fat pizza parlor owner from Star Trek Picard.
Wow.
I thought you were
Can I
going
get you a buy?
I thought you were going to be referring to Cruise's character from Tropic Thunder.
These are homegrown tomatoes. Forget about it.
So you think that guy is a better actor than Tom Cruise?
Sure, why not?
That's rough.
He was also David Xanatos in Gargoyles.
That's
Hard
Yeah,
disagree.
take that and suck on it, Jake.
He was also the host of Beyond Belief. Fact or
That's
fiction.
true.
He had lots of questions to ask you about your personal
So
life.
many. So many.
You all seen him on, like, what is it, Half Speed, where he just
Yeah.
sounds
Yes.
drunk and fucked? Have I mentioned that before? Because it's hilarious.
Anyway, this has nothing to do
Sorry,
with
I'm
Total
just-
Recall.
I'm just thinking of that now, and I can't stop.
Total Recall has a lot of Star Trek actors on it, doesn't it?
ton,
we
yeah.
got-
It really
we got
does. They're just popping
Jellicoe.
out everywhere.
Picardo.
Huh?
Yeah,
Picardo's in it.
He was
Robert
a robot
Picardo.
cab driver.
Yeah, he was the
Voice of
Johnny
Johnny
Cab.
Cab.
Johnny
I
Cab.
am a Johnny. I
We
am
got
a cab.
Mark Alamo showing up in this.
Yep, Mark
Oh, yeah,
Alamo,
with
Ducat
full-on
himself.
swagger involved.
We got,
we never see what
uh,
happens
Wild.
to his character, do we?
No, I don't think we do.
He just kind of vanishes, and I was so sad.
I think he gets away with it.
Yay! As he should.
And
we have the
Sonia
guy
Gomez, right? Is our
Sonia
gal
Gomez
with
has
lots
Yeah.
of
three
titties?
titties.
Yep.
Yeah. We have the guy with the finger game, Stratagem or
Roy
whatever. the fuck-
Brocksmith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where was he?
He was,
was
the
the-
doctor. Dr.
The guy
Edgemar.
that
Oh,
Hausa, that
wow.
Quaid shot in the head.
Okay, wow.
Oh, the guy who, like, goes in with him and is trying to, like, convince him that it's not real?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy? Oh, cool.
And then Benny, he's going to show up in DS9 later.
Hmm.
Yeah, we haven't
Benny?
seen him yet.
Benny, the cab driver.
Benny the cab driver.
The cab
Oh,
driver,
cool.
who's got 5 mouths to feed.
And then for that matter, I noticed that Jerry Goldsmith does a score for Total Recall, who's done a bit of work with Star Trek. Was that a,
He
was that a
did
sad
Star
sigh?
Trek's 1-5. Jerry Goldsmith is an amazing composer. He was having an off week when he did this.
I didn't
I
mind
was
it,
so
though. I mean,
disappointed.
Yeah, I noticed nothing wrong, so.
yeah,
See,
I
the
didn't-
problem is I noticed it. I felt the music during all the action scenes was too loud and a little too, like, happy action music, not tense action. Like, it was really distracting.
I was happy about the action.
No, but what I mean, though, is, like, it felt tonally wrong in a way I can't adequately express.
But
Do you think
I
that
just
might be
wanna say
deliberate,
that-
though?
Yeah, you're probably right, Liz.
Because, I mean, we're left wondering the whole time whether or not this is real. Like, or if this is, you know, a crafted adventure. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Funny,
he meant to
'cause I
strike
was
an adventurous tone.
I was expecting a whole lot more of the is this real element to come into play in this movie. Because we get that one really great scene with Dr. Edgemar, who swoops in and says, "You're actually in the recall offices, you're not here, I'm not here, your wife's not here, we're just trying to make sure that you get out of this safely because you're basically on a table in danger of dying from this thing that's happening, because this isn't real." And like that doesn't really come back an awful lot.
Yeah, not until the
We
very
just shoot
end.
the guy, and that's it.
I'm
Where
honestly fine with that.
No, I love shit like that though, because I know it's very Philip K. Dick, but
Oh, God, it is.
But I'm super okay with that because it's like my bread and butter. It was like, is life real? Are you you? Are you actually a spy? And has this life been written for you, or is this just your life? It's really cool stuff.
I think that the film sort of... The mistake they make is that before he goes to recall, his wife and that coworker are already giving him, like, meaningful glances when he's not looking at them, when he's talking about Mars.
Yeah,
And I feel like-
they kind of take out some of that ambiguity.
Yeah, I feel like
I disagree.
you leave that out if you want to remain ambiguous, I think.
I mean, at first I thought about that because I was like, oh wait, but the camera lingers on what's her name after he goes to work.
Sharon Stone,
Yeah, sure.
Lori Quaid.
Yes, Lori. That's it. Oh, that's Sharon Stone. That's why she was familiar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's
And
great.
the camera lingers on her, and you see her expression change. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's points in favor. That's a pretty strong argument for reality. And I'm like, well, but if we're talking like this, these memories playing out as a sort of dream sequence, sort of way, in dreams, it's very possible to follow people who are not you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying he's at recall from the word go.
It's entirely possible. Yes.
Oh, that'd be really fun. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's the only way that could work, because otherwise, again, it's like... Because theoretically, that's before, as far as we know, he's gone to recall, and that's my only problem with it. Like, not that they followed them, but the fact that they were already making faces like, oh no, he's too interested in Mars.
Or maybe she's
Although-
just tired of her husband's shit. It's like, oh god, he went on about Mars today.
Well, the thing it was less exasperation and more like, oh no, he said the secret word. Pee-wee's gonna be pissed.
She's probably just sick of hearing him going on about this beautiful woman he's in love with on Mars. If I was his wife, I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
that's-
other
that's
thing
a
that
totally possible
that removes
interpretation.
some of the ambiguity, but in the other direction is that, when he's describing his dream woman at recall, it shows a picture of Melina on the screen. So that's theoretically before he went, before he went under the knife and got his brain implant.
Yeah.
So that is a point in favor of fantasy, that she's just part of that simulation because he specifically designed her based on his inputs to the questions.
Yeah.
Or, like, I was starting to wonder if part of the problem was that the spy program was actually based on his actual work there. Like, it already was his memory, and that's why she was there.
I mean, she appears in his dream at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, like, don't they say that they implant you with, like, real memories, right?
Well,
Like, do they suck them out of someone else's head to
No,
slap
because
into
they
your
didn't
head?
actually
Or...
turn Mars into they didn't actually terraform Mars, right?
No, I think the idea is that it feels real.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
That's
It's
what
like
they
a
mean by
video
real
game.
memories.
Literally.
Hyper-realistic video game.
That is another thing that's easy to miss because they kind of like the scientist says it off screen as they're setting Arnie into the chair. You do hear him go, blue sky on Mars. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you mentioned We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, Chris. Have you read that one or no?
I have not, but I did read a summary of it.
Yeah. I read it this past week. It's really short. And honestly, not that good, which is it's really, really superficial. And I think the movie does a lot of interesting stuff with the ideas of the story, because that's what Philip K. Dick, I think, has a lot of really good ideas, but I don't think this story had any substance at all.
So,
But the ending is wildly different.
yes.
Because the ending, like, they never even go to Mars in the story. It cuts off basically after he's come back from recall, learned that people are after him now for spilling the spy secrets because there's a transmitter in his brain that's telling people what his thoughts are. And his thoughts are, I'm a spy. Interesting. That's cool. So the recall people track him down. They come to an agreement because they know he can kill them because he's a spy with superhuman strength because he's Arnold. And they come to an agreement, okay, we'll just write it over with a different memory that you really would like to have. How about that? We'll write it off and we'll make sure you don't remember any of this and everyone will survive. And the memory we'll give you is the one that apparently you've been repressing for a long time and that as a kid, you really wanted to meet aliens and the aliens would make an agreement with you that they won't invade Earth as long as you're alive. And they're like, okay, well, we'll implant that memory. And as they go to implant that memory, they realize, oh no, that memory is real too.
Oops.
Wah, wah.
We can't kill this guy because then aliens will invade.
So, Philip K. Dick, because I haven't read We Can Remember For You Wholesale, but I've read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I read a collection of his short stories. He's a man with great ideas that needs someone else to make them good.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like-
valid.
Like, Blade Runner is my go-to for when people say the book is always better than the movie, and I go, nope, Blade Runner is way better. Even, like, some of the really interesting ideas from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep that didn't make it into Blade Runner made it into, and were done better, again, in the late 90s Blade Runner point-and-click game.
Are there electric sheep?
Actually, they do talk a bit more in the game about the fact that, like, since real animals are incredibly rare on Earth, like, there is a whole point about the fact that real animals are super expensive and, like, a sign
But
of
they don't
luxury.
show the sheep, is what I'm hearing.
I
Fuck this game!
don't remember.
2 stars.
Not enough sheep.
But yes, I think in the book there is an actual electric sheep.
Yeah, in the book I remember there being sheep, and in the movie I remember being really, really offended by the lack of sheep.
No, they
That's
changed
why
the
they
titles,
didn't.
so.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't call it doing.
They had an electric
Dream of
owl
Electric Sheep.
instead.
What about the
There's
snake?
an owl.
Was the snake real?
No, I think the snake was also replicant.
Yeah, no, because that was the whole. He was able to find its manufacturer from a scale.
Oh.
But yeah, no, Dick has a lot of interesting ideas. And also some horrifying ideas, Zach. There is this one story in the collection I have where it's basically like this massive anti-abortion screed, which on its own is one
you've told
thing.
us about this one before.
Yeah, and like the whole premise is like there wouldn't be abortions if not for women because men would never let them happen. And it's like, okay, Phil, your last name is appropriate.
Eh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
know a lot
think
of the
the last-
episodes of Virtual Dreams are pretty good.
Mm.
yeah, but again, I feel like I don't know what most of those are even based on, but they're not. I'm sure they're very, very loosely based on the stories. I doubt they're.
Well, so is
very
Total
close.
Recall.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
True.
Was it anybody else's first time seeing this film?
It was...
My father's a huge Schwarzenegger fan, so I saw this like when it first came out.
It's been so long that literally pretty much all I remembered was the end scene.
With the bulging eyes.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that will scar a child and stick with them. I
Yeah,
was
all-
too young when
all
I
of,
saw
like-
this.
It's like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the face horror moments I remember being traumatized by as a kid, and now this was my first time I think watching it in its entirety as an adult from start to finish, and I fucking love it, and I especially love all the facial horror stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's great because it's like, you know, they're all practical
Yeah.
Yeah,
sculpts, and you know, some of them are better than others in terms of the realism of like. I feel like famously the Arnold sculpt that is under the lady's head
Mm.
is like horribly misshapen,
It's a bit janky.
but like
It was
they're
pretty
just they're
bad.
I
so
love it.
endearing.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you were letting me to believe because you're like, oh, here it comes. I'm like, oh, God, what's it going to be? Oh, it's just a sculpture of Arnold's face.
But it's really bad.
It's bad, but I was
It's
expecting
like
it
Arnold's
to like
face that got run over by a truck.
it's fine. He was just under a lady's face. He would
It's
look
like-
like that.
I
a little
dropped this clay model on the floor. Can we still use it?
Maybe that's what happened. We're running out of time. We have to.
And it was funny for me too because I didn't remember that it was the same director as RoboCop, but I very
Verhoeven.
quickly picked up that it was.
Mm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's got a very similar tone, and
Yeah.
I think because in the short story, there's not a ton of like satirical moments really. Whilst this movie has like it's got the elements on Mars where all these terrorists just show up and blow shit up just
Yeah.
on a regular day,
Yeah.
and all these like little elements that paint in the world that I think are fascinating.
the news. I feel like Verhoeven especially like news in his movies is
Oh, yeah.
always like the sort of like just casually violent. It's
I'd buy
there's,
that
there's
for
like
a
a tongue in
dollar.
cheek there. Yes.
Yeah, like the media is like a
media.
big thing for him, you know, because he does the same thing in Starship Troopers.
Yes,
you know, with like,
so
We're
much.
certainly
Would you
going
like
to
to know
cover
more?
Starship Troopers soon.
Now that one I've actually never seen.
I haven't either.
Really?
that's an amazing. That. I mean, no, RoboCop's my favorite of his, but Starship Troopers is probably a close second, and this is a very close.
They're all
third.
they're all
They're
really
all very
fun.
good.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
Starship Troopers, like RoboCop, suffers from having sequels done by people who didn't get the point of the original. Like I feel like there's been a
Yes.
bunch of spin-offs and
Yeah.
like straight-to-video sequels that were like straight-faced, not satirical.
Yeah. And one thing I found interesting, you know, because I've seen this movie dozens of times. I remember one of the first DVDs I bought for myself was the DVD edition of Total Recall, and it was in a metal case that was Mars, and it was round. It was a round case,
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
which very cool.
Impractical.
Not very impractical because it does not go on your DVD rack at all.
Oh.
There's
No, you keep that on a display though.
Yeah, but it was a very cool case. But anyway, you know, something that I was kind of looking for this time, you know, while it does have a lot of the hallmarks of Verhoeven, which, you know, like, you know, the media being a big part of the, you know, how they do the exposition.
Yeah.
And then also like the violence, like it's got
Mhm.
like, you know, that bright red blood that squirts out whenever somebody gets shot, and
Or they blow up a rat or something
yeah,
like that.
and it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
just
Oh, no,
just
was it
real
Odo?
great violence. But one thing, like the satire is a lot either subtler or it's not there as much. You know, like
Yeah.
RoboCop is a biting satire of like corporate greed and, you know, civic downfall.
Yeah.
You know, and then Starship Troopers is, you know, the same thing, but with like jingoistic
Yeah.
militarism and things like that. Whereas this is less I feel like like a political satire of as those ones are, and it's closer to just being a straight up action adventure film.
Yeah, that was definitely something I walked away thinking, because again, like I had seen this, but not an extraordinarily long time. So just off the back of having watched RoboCop and knowing Starship Troopers by reputation, I was definitely surprised by like what felt like definitely far less satire than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
also because the idea of huge corporations making loads of money at the detriment of people is like just real life.
Yeah, that's just
in
I
this
think that's
country,
the world we
so
live
it's
in.
it's hard
It
to see
doesn't
in
have to be
satire when
amplified
it
as
is.
much.
Well, but
I
that
think
was
it's- yeah.
part of the point of RoboCop too, but they still ran with it more, you know?
I feel like it's a little more like, I feel like there's less of, he's not sort of sticking a flag on it and hanging a lampshade and being like, in the
Yeah.
same way that he likes to, in the same tongue-in-cheek way, but there's definitely, he goes out of his way to say, like, to humanize, the quote-unquote underclasses. Like,
Yeah.
as I'm watching this, I'm thinking like, I was not expecting, for a movie of this time period, of this genre, with this lead actor, knowing his movies, I was not expecting the women, especially the sex workers, to feel just so human. Just straight up like agency and everything. Like they were just people. They were people who lived hard lives, but they were still people, and they weren't just there as like decoration, and they weren't there to
I don't know.
get violence
Except for
glorified the same
Mary.
way.
Except for Mary, the
Which one was Mary?
three-breasted woman.
But I feel like she's the one who's most on display. Absolutely.
Quite literally.
Well, but
But-
she also like doesn't make it through, right? She gets like shot.
She does.
Oh, absolutely. I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like they don't become victims of violence, but I think they're even in that they're fighting back. Like there's a struggle, and they're active participants in the struggle. Like they're grabbing guns and they're joining the shootout.
Yeah, I
it
just
was
feel
more
like
than
she
I
didn't get a
expected.
chance to do that.
Yeah.
No, you're
we
right about
also we're lacking a trademark Verhoeven co-ed shower scene.
Yeah,
True.
that's
And
true.
there were no dicks.
Yeah.
True.
But that's so yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, just because I feel like Verhoeven in particular has kind of a reputation for objectification of women.
Oh, yes.
And especially like, Sharon Stone is in this film, but her probably more well-known Verhoeven role was in Basic Instinct, where
That was Verhoeven. I didn't know that was Verhoeven.
Yeah, I
and
didn't
which is
realize
like
it either.
a huge, like there's a hugely problematic thing, and I don't know too much about the story, but famously there's a scene in that movie where Sharon Stone uncrosses her legs, and it's a low angle shot, and she's not wearing panties.
Yeah, you can see all of it.
And she was told that it wasn't gonna.
She was told that you
in the
weren't going to
film.
see that
Oh.
by Verhoeven. So there's
He
like,
also apparently
claims
released
otherwise,
a
yeah.
rape comedy a few years ago. So
Oh,
Verhoeven's he's problematic. I wound up reading up on him after a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, his movies are great, but I just can't because he's such a piece of shit." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I saw someone, maybe it was on your thread, Caitlin, someone shared an article that listed off the controversies, but
Yeah.
I don't think they realized that article actually posts, like, it offers arguments in defense of it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I
too.
think,
I did
so,
read
like,
it.
yeah, I think ultimately the takeaway for me with Verhoeven is that he tends toward the satirical even on things that are just such treacherous ground that he probably shouldn't be treading on.
Yeah.
And I think he assumes too much of him, of his ability to tread on that territory.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a problem. Why wouldn't I make a satire about this? Why not make a rape comedy? Like it's subtle. Just if it's too subtle for some people, it's not my problem. It's like, well, you have a certain authorial voice and you are from a certain privileged background, in our society, so it doesn't come across the same way. But yeah, so agreed that he's problematic.
Yeah, well, and regardless, like, of that particular article, him pulling this shit on Sharon Stone is fucked up.
yeah,
That
is.
that's like just straight up just being a bad person.
That
Yeah.
is absolutely. I think that's wrapped up in the whole, like, in just this feeling of, like, I guess almost entitlement. Like, yeah. I could get away with it. If I did this to a guy, it would be all right. It's like, well, that would be a different situation. I feel like there's that mentality at play, and that's
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah, and it's not that he included a shot in the film that showed someone's vajayjay. It's that he told that person that he wasn't going to include that shot in the film.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless of his perhaps personal issues, the dude makes a mean movie.
Yeah, I know Arnold brought him in specifically for this movie because Arnold liked RoboCop so much, and he brought in like one of the writers because I guess there was the script for this movie had been around since the 80s, bouncing around. Originally would have included Richard Dreyfuss or Patrick Swayze in the lead role, and then a later iteration would have starred
Richard
William Hurt.
Dreyfuss.
That doesn't fit.
Those are very different.
Can you imagine Richard Dreyfuss operating that jackhammer?
Well, it would have been a very different movie, I bet.
Though
Yeah,
I
but
would be
Arnold's
interested to
cool
see
too.
Patrick Swayze in it. That would be a different kind of...
Swayze makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Swayze's more like built romantic interest creature than I think of as Richard Dreyfuss being.
Although, at the same time, you can see Richard Dreyfuss as, like, of course he's some schlub. He's Richard Dreyfuss. So it's almost more unbelievable that he might secretly be a spy. Whereas you look at Swayze or Swayze or Schwarzenegger and you go, yeah, I could see them being a spy. Whereas, like, yeah, it would be kind of like, more like, wait, what? Richard Dreyfuss is kicking the shit out of people?
I mean, it also depends very much on what kind of a spy you are. Like, I read that story, and the story is the guy is very, very much just kind of an everyman. Like,
True.
he works not in a construction company, but, just as a clerk somewhere. And he's just so normal that when you unearth that he's a spy, it's like big fucking news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it just so happens that your guy that turns out to be a super spy is, like, one of the most ripped people on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have
Is
tweaked
anybody
that
else
for someone like him.
disgusted by his fucking protein shake making?
No.
I didn't even notice.
I was not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
There was a scene where he was just making protein shakes and like shoving shit in there, and I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, he like grabs a handful of oats or something and throws it in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which nowadays,
remember-
that's just normal.
a friend of mine from high school for a brief time got really into bodybuilding. Not the actual act of building his body, but the idea that he wanted to build his body. So he
What?
so Arnold has he wrote a massive book about bodybuilding and
Is it
it
just
includes,
called Human Growth Hormone? The book?
no, it's got recipes and it talks about how to set up a gym routine and it's like a book that's like this thick.
Damn.
That
as
is
thick as one of Arnold's pecs.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking
And my
about
friend
the
had it, and,
small-town
he'd,
murder.
he didn't quite understand things. He would bring the book with him to the gym as if he was going to reference it while he was working out or something. I don't know.
I mean, at least carrying around that fucking tome was a workout.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
true.
he was lifting that instead of dumbbells.
So my point is, Arnold definitely knows how to make a protein shake, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's funny, though, in regards to the everyman thing, that, too, was originally, before they settled on Arnold, they had actually wanted to cast someone very average-looking as the Terminator. Because, again, the idea was supposed to be he's this undercover murder robot, and he's going to be less noticeable if he's I don't remember who it was going to be, but if it was Richard Dreyfuss, and all of a sudden he lifts up that biker and throws him across the room, you go, oh shit! Whereas when Arnold does it, you're like, well, that was mean, but I see how he did it. So it was a kind of a similar thing before they said, fuck it, Arnold.
Arnold
even
is great.
with Swayze, I could see the angle that I would the angle that I would think to go with someone like Swayze would be sort of the haplessness of it, because he would be good at seeming like a hapless, harmless lunkhead.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
but still looks really good with his shirt off.
Truth.
Because they did I haven't seen it, but they remade this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen the
with,
remake either.
with Colin Farrell.
It was Colin Farrell, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
Kate
he's-
Beckinsale, Bryan Cranston, and here's another Star Trek reference, John Cho.
Oh,
Who is that?
That's a new Sulu.
yeah,
Nulu.
Kelvin
Oh,
Sulu.
right.
Nulu. I did find it funny, speaking of his buffness there, that in the scene where him and his buddy are talking at the construction site,
gig?
everyone's got safety equipment on and long sleeves, except them, because they've got to talk, and also Arnold's wearing this really tight t-shirt with really short sleeves, so you can just see his arms working that jackhammer, Oh, yeah. For those of you that need that kind of thing, here it is.
Mm.
I think that's got to be bad for both your ears and your fertility.
Yeah,
using
probably.
a jackhammer.
I mean, his
Well, you don't
dick
have to put your
wasn't
dick in it.
involved.
Yeah.
Wasn't
You
it?
keep your
I don't
dick
know. I
out
just
of
feel
it.
like if your whole body is being like hard vibrated by that thing, it can't be good for the balls, the testicles.
Yeah, good point. Especially on top of the HGH.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
that's
it.
true.
Recall is very interesting.
Yeah, the whole idea of it is interesting.
Except for all the people they apparently keep killing with it.
Yeah, well, they lobotomize people.
This
Just
honestly,
once.
I feel like too many elements in this movie are resonating particularly like with our current times, and so that one I was like, yeah, they would. That's like Recall as a corporation would just be like, well, we'll just send that to corporate. They have the medical division. They'll they'll do their own investigation. They'll do a
take
cover
care
up.
of
They'll
it.
do a settlement payment, and they'll quietly hush it up. Maybe they'll do a rebrand, call it something else. It'll reemerge, and it'll be something different.
That's
Of
why
course.
it's Recall with a K now. It used
There
to
you
be
go.
with the C. They had to do
'Cause
that
with the C.
rebrand.
It's like
Well,
all the different medications that they had to keep rebranding.
Did they
Yeah, there you go.
actually nearly lobotomize a guy? Or was that just the story the friend at the construction site told because they knew if he went there it would rejigger his memories?
Is
Well,
true.
when Arnold brings it up at Recall, the salesman's like, "That's ancient history."
Yes,
so
that- no, I know.
apparently
I just-
it did happen.
They
at
did
some point.
they did fry somebody.
See, I
Yeah.
thought where you were going with that was, did that really happen, or is it a liberal hoax?
I mean,
Yeah, there was a few things like the body scanner that I thought was really cool that
Oh,
they have
yeah.
to walk through to get on
Got
the
that
subway.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
we got
looks
that. You
terrible,
you go on an airplane, you're
I
going to walk
loved it.
through that thing.
I thought the effect was done fairly well.
It was
The,
funny
the
as hell.
graphic of the X-ray, oh, it looks
Yeah.
so dumb.
Yes,
I mean, for
but it was great.
1990 though.
I thought it was pretty
And I
good for
thought-
90.
I thought the animation was actually fairly decent too, considering
Yeah.
like it didn't feel over. Like, his problem with animating is sometimes it can feel unnaturally smooth or something. It kind of felt a little accurate-ish. Like it didn't. There was nothing that set off my uncanny valley. Like the movement is wrong sensor.
Oh, it did for me, because the moment when he turns from looking in profile in one direction to turning and looking in profile in the other direction did not look like the way a human body would do that.
That's fair.
Does anybody know, was that scene hand drawn or was it like CGI?
I didn't
That-
look it up.
No idea.
That looked. I would guess hand drawn. I could be wrong though.
They actually, honestly, they actually did just set up an enormous X-ray machine and inject the actors with like radioactive fluid. They are all very ill now.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting is that the bug that was in his head didn't show up on that.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
You know, you'd think, because that thing was big. That thing was like, ping pong ball size.
Way too big to
God,
come
that
out
was
your
so
nose.
fucked
Yes.
up.
But, that's another one of those like face horror things, right? Like that was an
Yeah.
awesome practical effect.
Oh my god.
Ripping that thing out of the
It
nose.
was really
Yeah.
visceral.
Man, I used to have... So
a
that,
ping pong ball
that-
you shoved up your nose? Jake!
No, but you take a laser pointer and you put that up your nose and you can make that effect.
That's
Jesus.
that is true.
No, I fucking love, like, all of the zingers that Arnold delivers. And they're all, like, too late for the guy he's just wasted to even hear them. So
Yep.
they're all falling on
It is
dead ears, basically.
It is for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's James Bond style spiery.
Yeah.
Having lots of one-liners for your dead foe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
this was just a trial run for him playing Mr. Freeze.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Frosty!
It's his
Cool off.
it's his coping mechanism to deal with the horror of, like, because his memories are all bejangled. He's not used to killing people. It's how he's keeping his mind intact.
Yeah, he still thinks of himself very much as Quaid. He never once in the whole show seems to have any connection with Hauser.
No.
And even, like, the other characters, like, there came to be a point where I started wondering, like, wait, why are the other characters still calling him Quaid and wanting him to be Quaid?
Yeah.
Why aren't they calling him Hauser as much as I think they probably should be?
Mm.
Well,
That's a good
especially
point.
like, Cohagen, who's like old buddies with
Yeah.
Hauser, supposedly.
Well, Cohagen's in on the conspiracy, though.
Yeah, and he was having a private conversation with
Oh, yeah.
like
With Richter?
Ironside there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Richter.
Richter. He called him Quaid. And I think Richter called him Quaid too.
It does feel like if anyone would mockingly call him Hagen?
Hauser.
Hauser, rather. Like, after the big reveal, you think it would have been Cohagen.
Mm.
You know, just really drive home the fact that, like, Quaid is an illusion.
Yeah, and Melina only knows him as Hauser, supposedly, right? So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like, when she first meets him in this movie, she's like, Hauser. He's like, I'm not Hauser, I'm Quaid.
Yeah, I found it very inconsistent how much they were calling him Quaid by the end.
Even Quato was calling him Quaid as he was dying.
Well, it's because he'd been reading his mind, and in his mind, he is still just Quaid at that point.
That's true.
Oh, that's a
You know,
good
like,
point.
he does not
Yeah.
think of himself as Hauser.
The Hauser memories are still
Buried.
mostly buried.
Deep
How-
somewhere.
How many of those videos did Hauser make for himself, do you think? Is there just a room full of them that I could watch?
If you're seeing this video, it means we need a new toothbrush. Make sure to get yourself medium bristles. You hate soft.
Hey, buddy. So, if you're watching this one, pulling out the bug went sort of weird, and now we have half a nose. So I found a plastic surgeon who can fix it.
Oh my god,
like-
Chris, your accent is impeccable. Thank
Yeah,
you.
your
You sort
Arnold
of
is
sound
really
like
good.
Ren from Ren and
Yeah,
Stimpy.
this-
or
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
I can't do Arnold. I shouldn't have tried, but here we are. But yes,
Well, Caitlin's got you covered.
I'd like to think it's like that
Thank you,
old
Ames.
Dana Carvey sketch.
Yes.
Where he's
Hans and Franz?
recording.
Oh.
Huh? No,
I'm
no.
sorry.
He's I want to say he's Ted Koppel or something.
Gerald Ford or whatever.
Yeah, and he wants to go on vacation, and he's like recording all possible major news stories so that it's not his like vacation coverage reporting it. And so they're on like presidential deaths, and they're on to Gerald Ford, and it's like Gerald Ford dead today at the age of 82, and like the causes of death keep getting more and more ridiculous.
YouTube it.
It might. Last time I looked, it wasn't there, but it was on other sites. Actually, since then, Saturday Night Live has put a lot of their stuff online officially, so it might be there.
Yeah, were they Netflix or Hulu?
Oh, I just mean they put a lot of clips online,
Oh, fair enough.
like on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
It's also probably
But
streaming.
yeah, I want to see the Hauser version of that. Just increasingly
Hauser.
bizarre, like, you know.
If you're watching this video, it's because my left kneecap has been blown off. I've got the
You have a
crutches.
towel wrapped around your head.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah.
So,
How much did Richter know about what was going on? Because his wife was Lori, playing Quaid's wife.
was that his wife or just like his girlfriend or something?
I don't know.
Did they
Where I
say
looked
wife?
it up online, it said wife. So maybe I don't
I
know if
didn't
it's
see any
ever actually
indication.
established, but
'Cause, like why would his wife agree to do that?
Good money into that.
I mean,
bet.
she's
Yeah.
assigned to it.
Would
yeah.
she just have to be Quaid's wife forever?
well, it sounded like Cohagen had a plan that he was going to bring him back eventually.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
didn't tell Richter that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Richter
like,
must have known, like, yeah, but what did Richter think? Did Richter think Lori was just going to be his perpetual wife?
maybe he'd been told that it was eventually going to be dealt with, but they didn't explain how.
Mm.
Maybe he thought one day he'd just get to kill him.
Mm.
Yeah, there was a couple moments in this movie where I'm like, wait, so why did Cohagen leave Hauser alive? Why bother going through all this trouble of, like, recreating a life for him, getting that construction worker job, getting Lori ready to plow, all this stuff when he could have killed him? And then you realize later on, oh, it's because he had, he knew that this would be a way to get to Quato.
Yeah.
But then you realize Richter would also be wondering why the fuck keep him alive this whole time.
Well, the other thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right, is so Hauser already had the trust of the Martian resistance, right? Like, Melina already trusted him. Quato probably already trusted him. As Hauser, undercover, without any kind of memory wipe, why did he need to wipe his memory?
Because Quato could read his mind.
Yeah, he never met Quato as Hauser. And had Hauser met Quato, Quato would have realized it was
that's
all a
right,
ruse.
that's right.
Yep. It is actually fairly ingenious.
That
Yeah.
part is,
But then again, you could still do all that. You don't need him to have this life on Earth, for weeks and months or however long. And you certainly don't need to stage this whole elaborate escape and risk killing him several times.
Well, so Jake, here's the sort of cheap automatic out this movie has for any kind of weird question. Because it was all part of the story, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's all
I
fake.
get that. Sure. You know, it's part of that implant.
But yes, that does give them kind of like a get out of plot holes free card.
Yeah.
So that a lot of things they can go like there's stuff that like, maybe this was a legitimate clue. Maybe we actually fucked up, but we get to go, whoa!
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah.
Where they wave their hands around.
Their long, 3-fingered chicken wing looking hands.
Yeah, okay, so speaking of hands, all right.
Hands.
So a lot of the Martians are like
Mutants.
deformed, and we're told it's because of the bad air that Cohagen's been pumping in.
It's also, I think, the radiation that, because Mars doesn't have
the
an
domes
atmosphere.
are bad. They
Yeah.
don't provide
Well,
shielding.
especially
Yeah.
the early domes were particularly bad.
Yeah, and we see that, like, you know, a lot of them have, like, deformities on their faces and things like that, but they're also have developed, like, X-Men abilities,
Yeah,
like
psychic.
ESP and shit.
Yeah.
So, but Benny straight up has an alien arm.
Yep.
Like, he's that's not like he has a mutated arm. He's like, that is straight up the arm and the hand that is supposed to go into the alien start button at the end of the movie. Right?
Kind of.
Was it? I don't know
think
about that.
The alien start button had 4 fingers.
Yeah, he's got 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
he's
they're
got
really,
three.
really long and spindly.
Yeah.
No.
But
But
yes,
it's
I
not
agree they're
human.
similar,
Whatever he
though,
has
too.
is not.
yeah, his mutation is unique.
Well, particularly because like most of the people with mutations seem to just have like half their face looks like a birthmark, and they can guess your weight or some carnival shit.
Yeah.
The little girl's like, I know you're wearing blue jockeys.
Ooh.
How did you know?
That's amazing, Caitlin.
There's a hole in the back of your trousers. Oh, damn it.
Aw.
We got Hank from Breaking Bad.
Oh, we did, yeah.
In the bar.
Tony, right?
Yeah.
Hank from Breaking Bad.
I have seen like the first
Dean
2
Norris.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Is Hank
the-
his little buddy
No,
that he hangs out with
Hank-
in the first few seasons?
No.
Okay, then I have no idea.
Oh no, that's
Hank's brother-in-law, who's the DEA agent.
Oh, okay, I do know who that is.
yeah, no, his friend is
Jesse
the
or
voice
something.
of Todd.
He was
from
also
BoJack. I can't think of his name.
the corrupt mayor in Under the Dome.
Under the
Oh.
fucking dome.
Which is-
the Stephen King show?
Honestly, one of the worst television shows ever.
Under
Wow.
the dome.
I watched, or not watched, I
Under the
read
dome.
part of that book, and I
I'm
lost
certain
interest
in this case
it.
the book is better.
Huh?
I'm certain that in this instance the book is better.
I don't
I'm
know,
sure it
Stephen
is,
King
too.
pumps out a lot of garbage.
But I lost interest in it really quick. I felt the same way about The Stand, though, because I thought The Stand was going to be more about, like, how the plague happens, not just the first 100 pages are plague and the rest is, like,
It's like After the Plague, right?
after
it's like
the plague. Yeah,
Survivors.
it's like
Yeah.
1,000 pages of After the Plague, and I'm less interested in that.
Mm.
Not that anyone
Anywho.
cares. Caitlin's reading Choices Corner.
I liked
Yeah.
the sets for the movie. Like
The ones on Mars or all of them?
I guess, just all of them in general. But I was, I guess, surprised. I wasn't expecting to find out that a lot of like the terminal sets, like the terminal scenes, were filmed in like the Mexico City metro.
Huh.
Like they had just opened that year, or
Oh,
not
that's
that year,
cool.
not that year. I'm
That's
sorry,
fun.
they opened in 1970. I think there was. It doesn't matter. But like that's so like all that gray brutalist architecture was was actual, like, you know, not terminals but stations, transit stations. It was just the Mexican subway.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it kind of reminded me of like the layout with like those mezzanines and stuff. Kind of made me think of like a mall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that it's like civic architecture that's repurposed.
I kind of like how almost everything was shitty. Like, even
Yeah.
when he goes to the Ritz Hotel, his room is filthy. Like, the
But it's
walls
on
are
Mars
grimy.
though. Like,
No, this was the Ritz
Ritz
before
on
we went
Earth.
to Mars.
Yeah, this is where...
okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, if anything,
Yes,
his
you're right.
hotel
Oh, yeah,
room...
he went to the Hilton on Mars. That's
and
right.
that was actually a little nicer. But, like...
Yeah.
So, like, even the Ritz, which normally in films is shorthand for a really nice hotel, was a fucking dump.
Yeah, it was like a shitty. It's like the hotel room that Tom Hanks stays in Big.
Oh, I haven't
Jake
seen that in
recently
ages.
rewatched Big.
I love
I've
Big.
never seen Big.
I was gonna say
It's a fun movie.
it's like your hotel room if you fucking went to the Ritz in Silent Hill.
Ooh.
Good.
You expect to
I-
reach into a toilet and have to find your keys or something.
Oh
To
God.
get to the
I
next
bet he was
cut
paying for that
scene.
room by the
No,
hour.
thank
You know, I don't want to go into a bathroom in Silent Hill. Pyramid Head be waiting for me.
Oh, so creepy. One of my great notes, Melina invented the 90s.
you.
I loved her little getup. It was so throwback.
It was very 90s, yeah. What year was it supposed to be?
Oh,
This
I don't
film?
know off the top of my
The
head.
I
future.
don't think they ever gave an explicit year.
Yeah. If they did, I
Fair
missed
enough.
it, so.
I mean, technology-wise, it could be now-ish. You know, like as seen from.
We do
From
now have
1990?
huge wall-mounted televisions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do now have a colony on Mars.
Yeah. Okay.
You
That's
now
not
have
good.
airport body scanners
Yeah.
and
I-
tracking devices.
It's at that point in the future, as seen in many 90s science fiction, where retro CRT looks are in.
Mm.
You know, it's actually way more advanced than that. To look like a CRT monitor is really hip right now. And that's why they're all over the place.
It's probably like 10, 15 years from now. Because
Actually,
cassette tapes are huge. Right?
I not that long ago legitimately was reading an article about how people are seeking out CRT monitors because it's somehow better for gaming in a way I didn't understand.
Yeah, because you
Well-
can play Duck Hunt on it.
There's so
It's the only reason.
from a technical perspective, a really good CRT monitor is actually probably going to be better than a really good LCD monitor.
Yeah, and that the article explained why. I just didn't understand
Can you explain
any
why,
of the
Jake?
terminology.
No, because it'll be boring.
Well, because
Not if he keeps it under 30
CRT
seconds.
is an analog device, right? So you're just going to pump signal into it, and you're going to get video out of it, right? Whereas a LCD has to interpolate things.
Fair
See
enough.
what I mean? Boring. You know what's not boring is that they're forecasting a new thing in the future, and that's what Uber is going to turn into, which is the Johnny Cab.
Mm.
Oh god, yeah, the self-driving
That
car.
fucking will fuck you up if you don't pay.
Oh,
That actually
yeah,
tracks.
It fucking blew up. That was great.
That was
That
like
tracks.
my favorite thing. It's just, oh my god, went like full head spinning exorcism. I'm like, pay your fare.
I had definitely misremembered the Johnny Cab as not just being voiced by Picardo, but Picardo in like makeup to make him look like a plastic man. So like,
Was,
Looked like a-
was that?
A
I
plastic
think that was a
van?
puppet.
yeah, no, that's what,
It
that's
was
what
a
I mean.
puppet.
I
He's saying he
misremembered
misremembered it.
As
Oh,
not,
you thought it? Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like-
You thought it actually was Robert. Picardo.
yeah, I had remembered it as being Robert Picardo done up to look like he was plastic.
I mean, it was clearly made in the visage
Yeah.
of Robert Picardo.
Yeah,
It looks
yeah.
great.
But I had misremembered it as being him and not a puppet based on him.
Your childhood perception and memory made it more of a even more of a nightmare than it already was for you.
Kind of, yeah. Like that's all I remembered was bulging faces and incorrect Johnny Cab.
And how many
Yeah.
boobs?
3.
So many.
And 2
Well, I like
weeks.
that the Johnny Cab is still
2
equipped
weeks,
with
yes.
a joystick.
Just in
Yeah.
case, yeah.
Like, and you have, but it's not like a joystick that you can like.
It's
It's not
the-
like an emergency. Oh, the Johnny Cab went crazy. I need to grab it. Thing. Because you physically have to tear
Yep.
the puppet out of the thing.
It's the
Yeah.
manual steering column, Jake.
It was the manual steering column. That's true.
That's how Riker was going to be involved.
Mm.
He was going to be a cab driver.
But then someone who looked like Jake, but 30 years ago, was like, you think Jonathan Frakes is a better actor than Robert Picardo? Please.
true.
that was
No,
an
that's
amazing
true. Robert
mocking
Picardo
phrase.
is a better actor than Jonathan Frakes. That is true.
Mm.
Jake, you're telling me that you think Robert Picardo is a better actor than Jonathan Frakes?
Oh, I
Yes.
do love Robert Picardo.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
As always, I am picturing little Jake as just Jake's current head on a child's body, complete with the beard.
You're not far off.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
I mean, the Grinch had a beard when he was little.
True.
The Grinch. So the Martians, eh?
Which ones? The aliens that built that pyramid?
I say, were
No,
they
the-
the Martians or were they other people?
Like colonizers.
Venusians,
Mm.
Plutonians,
Mm.
the fucking competitors to the column people from 2001.
The Goa'uld.
It was kind of funny that you mentioned Venusians, though, because when we were talking earlier about how these mutants became mutants and was it radiation and shit, all I could think of was how, like, wasn't it some Venusian bacteria or other that started the Night of the Living Dead or something?
No, it was a space comet.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
A space comet? Unlike all those Earth comets?
Oh,
It was a
yeah.
comet.
We have Earth comet. It's for cleaning toilets.
That's,
Touche.
that's from the
Wow.
the Ramiro.
Yeah, the 60s
Version?
one. Yeah.
That's like in the public domain, so
Yeah.
everyone can release their own DVD copy of it.
Yep.
I'm just saying, if comet radiation can make zombies, Mars radiation could do anything.
That's true.
It's fair.
You're probably right.
But yeah, that's the thing, though. We don't know if those aliens were the original Martians or if it's, something else.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was another species that was trying to terraform Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it
You
feels
know?
like they would have done it then. Like, it feels like this was being left behind for a reason. Again, sort of like it's like, look. You know those assholes from 2 systems over? They leave those weird plinths, and people find them, and there's a whole big mind. That's dumb. We're going to be really straightforward. We're going to build a pyramid, going to be a button, they're going to turn a planet breathable. Bada bing. We're the normal guys. We're the cool ones. Come join us, not the shitty plinth people. They're assholes.
But why would you, go through all the trouble of building that and then not do it? I
Again,
just
it's
kind of
a
feel like
test.
Copenhagen, or whatever the fuck his name is, shows up
Cohagen.
and, kills them when they're in the middle of it or something. I don't know. I feel like otherwise I would have just hit the button.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Because I wondered that myself. The best I could think of is, well, maybe something happened, some catastrophic event, their society, just suddenly flood the planet at the last minute. Or maybe they
Asteroid
they
or
need
Ice
to-
Age.
Yeah, or famine, or disease, or
Well,
political
well,
event back
Cohagen-
home.
Cohagen has these excuses that he's telling Quaid, don't turn it on because the way that it will work, it will make the air breathable, but it will destroy the planet at some point. I don't know if that's an eventual thing
Yeah.
or what. And the thing is, we see, the air becomes breathable. All of a sudden, there's porpoises and dolphins and all this thing. Probably not. This might be my imagination.
Nature is healing.
But all of a sudden, the place is okay to live on, but you don't know what the actual long-lasting effect of this technology is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you probably should listen to Cohagen at least a little bit, because you don't know if this thing's going to hollow out the planet, and now you're going to have a breathable atmosphere, but nothing to stand on.
Well, I think
It's got to
his
be better for
concern
people
was-
that are there right now, though, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
I was just saying it's
Oh
got
yeah,
to be better
it's
for the
certainly
people
better
who
for
are
the
there.
colonists that. Well, yeah, right, because Cohagen was making money by selling air.
By
You know,
oppressing the people.
Yeah, and basically, he owned the planet for all intents and
It's
purposes.
very Rango.
I don't know. This doesn't really feel like at all relatable to real life, though.
No.
Mm.
Well, I think, too, his real concern was that it was going to use up whatever fictional mineral it was he was mining. So it's not necessarily going to destroy the world, it's just going to destroy his profits.
Oh.
Yeah. Like he destroyed those fish, that prick.
Those
Yeah,
poor
the poor
fish.
goldfish. And I bet those were real goldfish.
Yes, they were not CGI.
I just mean...
Did they scoop them back up?
did
to,
they
do
really
they have
kill
someone
goldfish?
whose job? There's got to be someone whose job it is. And be like, okay, we're filming the fish. All right, Randy, save the fish. Save the fish.
Get the fish!
It's still mean.
Yeah, it's kind of
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, a fish can't consent to that.
And if they could, they wouldn't.
No.
They also don't consent to being eaten, and people still do that.
There's a difference when you're doing a thing because it's for your own survival versus, it's gonna look
Cruelty
really
sake.
cool when we suffocate these fish. No,
Maybe they ate the fish afterward. We don't know.
eat goldfish.
You do want to dare.
They're delicious.
Well, that's
they're
disgusting.
the snack that smiles back. Damn it!
I prefer Cheez-Its. I don't.
They're
That's a
both-
lie. Goldfish are superior.
Yeah, they're not really. They're both for different. Although both cheese snacks, they are for different needs.
Hmm.
I
Oh.
can accept that.
With different needs.
Salty or
They
not.
meet my needs.
Flavor, texture, how salt levels.
How much it smiles back.
Yeah, one
You know,
smiles back.
I was always a
gonna say
fan
that.
of the. Do they still make the pretzel goldfish?
Oh, I hope
think
not.
so.
Yeah.
I think they might.
See, I
think
thought
they
those
do.
were great.
I just don't like pretzels
Okay, I
a
have them.
lot.
Oh, okay,
What?
that's-
It's a
that's
failing
your
of
problem.
me. I like the fresh,
Damn.
soft ones, like you put like a mustard on it or some shit. But I don't really
Cheese
like hard
sauce,
pretzels
like
that
a
much.
beer cheese.
Unless you cover it in
I'm
chocolate.
very
and
hungry.
Dip it
God
in
damn it,
mini
guys.
M&Ms or some shit.
Ooh, yeah. Anything covered in chocolate with mini M&Ms is pretty good.
Yeah, that's fine. Those are good. You don't taste the pretzel so much then.
Anyway, back to this alien conspiracy.
Yes.
So we flood the planet. It's breathable now, and like in a half a second, Hauser and Melina are okay again, and their faces are fine, and
Yeah,
they don't
no
even have like a pop blood vessel in the eye or anything.
Yeah, no scarring.
Yeah.
That should be the thing. Like the day was saved, but their faces are still all like puffy. It's like it'll probably go down in a week, maybe.
Now
That
they
was
look like
Melina.
pugs for the rest of their life.
an ice pack?
Well, like the whole
They're
point of
trying
the,
to kiss.
the reason their
Oh.
faces are exploding is because there's zero. Or
Air
well, that's
pressure.
the thing. There is an atmosphere on Mars.
I was thinking the same
So,
thing.
but I don't think you can breathe on Mars.
No.
But I
No.
also don't think that your face would explode that
I mean,
way.
what's the atmospheric pressure though?
So I looked it up
Good,
because it was
I'm glad
annoying
you
me.
did.
Apparently, it is an intensely thin atmosphere.
That sounds
So,
right.
at the very least, if you were indoors and a wall was punctured, you probably would have explosive decompression. I
Mm.
couldn't get a clear answer on whether or not being outside would cause you to go through full, like, vacuum-style suffocation or just regular suffocation, though. Like, it does feel like you die, totally, but I don't think you'd go through, like, head explodey craziness, I
Well,
think.
I don't
You'd
know if
pass
you'd go
out.
through
Does
that
anyone want
in,
to go
in
the
the
fuck to
vacuum
Mars?
anyway.
Because Earth
'Cause of-
sucks.
Yeah, did
Yeah,
you see
but
Earth?
yeah.
You see how
At
the
least
shitty
if
the
you
hotels on
fucking-
Earth are?
Okay, but if you open a window here on Earth, your fucking blood doesn't boil.
Yes.
Reading the news, blood boils.
Nice.
Eh.
God, fuck Mars.
One thing though is like I would figure if enough air is being blown out of that mountain to bring up the atmospheric pressure to normal levels and breathable air,
Yeah.
I feel like the storm that would create would be a lot more violent than what we saw.
Yeah, you
Like,
feel
there was,
like that
like,
would be
one-
instant.
There was like
tornadoes
one
or
wave of
something.
air that blew out the windows in the dome,
Well, yeah,
and then it was just like a nice spring day.
well, see, you're right, though. Before it cuts out, there are some clouds gathering, so I think they're about to get Noah'd.
No, well, maybe yes, that's right. You don't see as the epilogue to the movie where
Everyone
everyone still
drowns,
dies. Yes.
Oh no.
Especially the people in the, like, shittiest underground parts.
Well, yeah, because it looked like
But the
the
fish will
way
be
that
okay
machine
now.
worked was like it was like melting some kind of glacier,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or like sublimating it.
So there we go.
Oh,
It becomes,
the ice cap.
Yeah.
it becomes
That's very
flooded,
prominent.
and the weird radiation mutates the fish, and Mars becomes the whole home of hyper-intelligent goldfish people.
I would go to that planet.
But they still have 30-second memories.
Maybe Benny was like half crab man, and that's why his arm was so weird.
Ah. Oh god, I saw this thing on Reddit yesterday or 2 days ago. Someone apparently tried to smuggle crabs in their luggage. And luckily, the crabs lived.
Oh, I was gonna say live crabs.
Unluckily for the guy,
He
his
died.
bag done popped open on the carousel. So it was just
Oh.
people filming
Yes.
as all these crabs started skittering off the carousel, being like, fuck off, get the fuck away from me. I'm a
How
crab.
many
Crab.
The
crabs are
crab
we
with the
talking
knife,
about?
were they there?
Huh?
Was the crab with the knife there?
No,
Sadly,
you can't take that
Damn
on
it.
an airplane, Caitlin.
Ah,
You can if you check it, Liz.
But
your
yeah, so
crab can take it.
there were just a bunch of crabs running around on this carousel and on the ground near it.
That's so sad. I'm so sad for those crabs.
I mean, they lived,
No,
so that's
those.
good.
Are you kidding me? Those
I
crabs
mean-
were on an adventure and they finally got free. They're good to go.
Yeah, but
They're like, where's the nearest taxi stand? I'm
Yeah,
gonna go check in
but
my
now they're
hotel.
lunch.
Oh, that's probably true.
actually, though, speaking of half crab people, I was thinking, based on sort of what we were talking about last week. Oh, shit. No, this is out of order.
In the future.
In
The
the
thing that we
future,
were
we're going
talking-
to talk
the thing that we were
about some
talking about next
episodes of
week.
Star Trek where there are half-breed love children's,
Crab people.
and I was thinking we were talking about, if
we
this
will be
was...
talking about.
Huh?
No,
No,
ahead.
I'm talking about right now, not in the
Okay.
future. We were just talking about, like, potentially that Cohagen showed up while the aliens were building or whatever. Maybe there was an occupation. Maybe somebody fucked one of those spindly-fingered aliens, and that's how you get Benny with his weird arm.
There
Well,
we
they
go.
did mention in one scene that how old the machine was, and they said like 500,000 years old.
Oh, probably not. That's not what happened then. Sorry.
Cohagen's really old.
It could be.
Or he knows the secret to time travel.
Slinging his ship around the sun
Yeah,
at warp 11.
that's
What the
like
fuck?
day 2 lesson at the academy.
At the
Don't-
academy, do they also have that double watch where it makes a double of you?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, that was a really fun
watch?
scene.
Yeah.
Classic James Bond shit where all the kit gets used.
Oh yeah. Like you knew it was gonna come back up when you saw it the first time. He's like, what the fuck is this thing?
I didn't even remember it happening previously.
What was it? It was like, oh, do you think I'm Quaid? I am! Or whatever.
So good.
Yeah.
So cheesy, but so good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It is
God.
like, it's like the last great 80s action movie in 1990.
Well, it was
All the
probably in
over-the-top
production in
music was the
89.
best. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But like
Uh.
just the 2 week sequence, like as soon as it starts, I'm like, oh yeah, this is just as delightful as I remember, if not better. It's just as quotable. It's just so much. Like all of the like, get ready for a surprise. I'm like, this is insane, and I love it. Just keep going.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I feel like
Definitely top film.
we've been avoiding talking about Kudo, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Quado.
Quado.
What did you want to
What
say
do you
about
wanna
it?
talk
I
about?
just feel like they just stapled the fucking Child's Play doll to somebody's stomach and was like, here we go. That looks good.
How does he hide that? How does George hide Quado under his shirt?
I think the implication is that Quado like he's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
In that like when he's not out, Quado's just like buried inside, and then
Buried
when he opens up
alive.
his shirt, the foreskin kind of peels back, and Quado emerges.
See, Quado doesn't have a skeleton. He's supported by a series of fluid-filled bladders, which he can then push the fluid out of so he can tuck back in.
Yep.
Gross.
Fair.
So yeah, I don't think Quado is always there under the shirt. I think he's
Yeah,
like
it's
when
collapsible.
he turned around and the guy was like,
Yeah. Had to-
and then in
Oh,
another
I just
like
had a massive Quado.
great fucking practical sculpt, the face of the actor that they made, while they were, so that you could, when Quado was out, it was just like this
yeah.
like really messed up head
Yeah.
that they sculpted.
I love it. I love all of it.
You're right, though, Ames. He has definitely unintentionally shit himself in letting Quado out before.
Oh no.
Like, he's always... It happened once, so he's always got to make sure, hey, they want to be Quado. Let me just hit the head real quick.
Oh no.
Let me get a diaper.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just...
uh-huh.
No, go ahead.
I just had the most that one random note in the middle of all my other stuff, which is just when they're trying to convince him that you're still back at recall. This is all a dream. Why don't you take this red pill and it'll all go away? I was like, oh, that's where they got that from, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, they got it from The Matrix.
Yeah.
Now, The
Matrix
Matrix
is
might
right
have
here.
gotten it from this, though. That might have been a nod to Total Recall from
Oh
The
no,
Matrix.
that's what I was talking about. I was talking about when I say they, I meant the Wachowskis.
Oh, I thought you meant the internet assholes.
No. I know they got it from the Matrix.
But in the
Oh,
Matrix,
yes.
the red pill is what took you. Oh no, I guess
No,
you're right. It did
that's-
take you
that's
out.
what
It
wakes you
took
up.
you to the real world. That's right.
Yeah.
I always remember
I had it back.
because of the line, why didn't I take the blue pill?
Yep. You were right.
So what would that pill have done to Quaid, do we think?
That's a good
Presumably
question.
killed him.
It certainly wouldn't have killed him, though, because I'm sure Cohagen brought Dr. Edgemar on, and Cohagen doesn't want Quaid killed, because he needs to use him in his ploy.
I
Do you think
mean,
maybe it
yeah.
would have helped to jog his memory somehow, or maybe knocked him
Just
out to bring him
knocked
back
him
to...
Yes,
Yeah,
they knocked
no,
him out
I-
so that they could surgery him again.
yeah, if we assume he's in the real world and Cohagen's plan needs to be enacted, it's going to knock him out so they can bring him back to Earth, wipe the past 2 weeks or whatever it's been, and start over. If he is in fact in a dream, it really is going to wake him up in recall, where they'll be like, here's a voucher, sorry.
Yeah, and here's Sharon Stone being your awesome wife.
And your schlubby coworker who you didn't murder.
Did you notice Sharon Stone had a Wii Fit that she was using to play tennis?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so
Yeah, the
this
tennis
already
hologram
happened
was cool.
then, maybe.
Yeah.
This is in the distant past.
Yep.
No, it's
A
going
long
to be like a
time
Wii Fit
ago.
revival.
Or that or Microsoft finally got the Kinect working.
Hey.
Please, that's too hard to believe. Suspension of disbelief is officially over.
Then it would be a dream.
Apparently.
Remember when they first came out with one of the Xboxes? Like they tried to say like, oh, and Kinect's going to be a required thing because it's going to count the number of people that are watching a movie, and it's going to like, charge you tickets to watch a movie.
Well, that was when the Xbox One first launched. The Kinect was a required component.
Oh, and we all were pissed.
I think that was something that was threatened or touted or something, but never actually enacted.
I don't think it was threatened. I think it was promised, but they just heard
Like
the
there was
bad
so much
reviews and were
backlash
like,
that they
okay.
decided not to do it.
Yeah, and eventually, I think after the first few months of very poor sales, they dropped the required Kinect.
They were like, all right, you want privacy, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that first year or so for the Xbox One was a real big wake-up call for Microsoft. They got a little cocky.
Don't get penisy, kid.
Nah.
Trying to think if there was anything else.
Not enough Mark Alamo.
Oh yeah, who was he
Yeah,
again?
that was lame-o.
Because I
He was
didn't
Captain
recognize him at the
Everett.
time.
He was the kind of the chief police officer on Mars, wore a little beret.
Yeah, sort of an orangey, rusted orange beret.
That's right, you sent me a picture of him.
In the terminal,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
I can envision him now. I never would have known that was Mark Alamo.
I mean, he
You just
got
gotta
to
look at his neck.
Makeup. Yeah,
You
that's
can
true.
tell.
You're right, you would have thought that would have been a big giveaway.
Yeah, who is that human giraffe? Ah, that's Bill Ducat.
Are people gonna think he's a mutant? No, it's fine.
Oh.
Just give him a high collar.
Oh,
Really high, though.
it's like up to his ears.
Guys, I think you're overrating this.
If you're watching this video, the turtleneck is too high. I can't breathe.
I don't know why that is a thing, but it was good.
Thank you.
I think we just have to do an audio file of Caitlin just making up a bunch of shit as Hauser.
Oh my god, can you
Hauser.
please? Can that be another fanfic challenge?
No, that'll just be a fucking episode. We won't even edit it. We'll just put it up.
It will lose its charm eventually.
Nope,
Probably pretty
disagree.
quickly.
Hard disagree.
Alright, well, Ames.
Nope.
I mean Ames, not Ames. I mean Ames, you too. But Liz, I'll
Hi.
just give you a private showing.
Oh yeah,
Aw.
me too. Include me.
Yes, yes, I accept this.
A tiny dancer.
Could you do that as Arnold?
No.
Tiny dancer.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Tony
What
Danza.
was
That was my intent.
Who's the
That
boss?
was Sly Stallone, dude.
Yeah, I can't do Arnold. I know I can't though. Like
Honestly, I'm incredibly flattered that I, by comparison, can do Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean,
Oh my
compared to
gosh.
me, a lot of people can.
Wow, thanks. We're stealing my thunder.
Do you think modern Arnold can do past Arnold? Because I mean, his accent has thinned out over the years.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
true.
you can channel that. Maybe he must have watched a couple films of himself first, but
If you were just like, the usual, trick to bring back your accent, just go home for a while.
yeah, I was gonna say like I know a lot of people who like when they go home to like say they're from Florida, they
Yeah.
come back with a southern accent, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from?
It happens
I
to me
used
a
to
little
get
bit.
that in college when I'd go to just to New Hampshire. I'd come home
Come
and they'd
back
be
with
like,
a
"Why
Florida
are you talking
accent.
like that?"
Come back. You go to New Hampshire, you come back with a southern accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
It's
this was
the South
Florida
and the
accent.
It, nowadays, you go to Florida, you come back with coronavirus, so
Ayo.
Oh.
and a stupid accent.
Better than going to Arizona.
Or California.
Mm,
Cali's got it bad too.
yeah.
We all do.
No,
But you know, we don't
Massachusetts,
have.
Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. A lot of this around here is doing a lot better.
Yeah, we'll
New
see
York.
what happens in the long run.
For
For
now.
now.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
Yeah, until
I'm
the
not
people
saying-
from Florida come back up here and
Yeah.
infect
Well,
don't-
everybody.
Don't
My
worry,
aunt's up from
there's going to be a
Florida.
second wave. It'll be worse than the first.
Typhoid Mary.
It's not going to be a second wave. We never got through the first wave, practically.
It's true.
That's true. Actually, I saw that on Twitter yesterday. Somebody was like, really interesting plan of America to avoid a second wave by just never letting the first one end.
Mm-hmm.
It's good shit.
This has gotten
We are
depressing.
number
Let's talk
one,
about the
apparently.
silly movie again.
Yeah, one more thing I
Yeah.
have is having all of your windows on Mars be made of glass was probably a bad idea.
It's a
though.
bad
Very.
idea. A single
Very.
pane of glass, yeah.
Especially since we should have transparent aluminum by then.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I love it when Richter's little buddy is shouting at him like, "Don't shoot them right now! You'll take out the windows."
Yeah.
My thought was, he'll only take out the windows if he misses.
Eh.
He's aiming for the people.
Well, also in the airport or the spaceport, they had things that shutters that closed if there was a leak.
But someone has to push the button. It doesn't happen automatically.
Yeah, so apparently they don't have that everywhere though.
Yeah.
We never talked about the opening sequence, the opening titles. I really liked the title
With
sequence.
the red, the
Yeah.
red font and stuff.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's like everything. I thought it looked, delightful.
Yeah, the look of it actually seemed very reminiscent because it looked like with the way the letters kind of faded away. It felt like memories being imprinted on you.
Yes.
Mm.
That was pretty slick.
Nice.
I didn't think of
I
that,
didn't
but
think
I
of
like
but
that.
that's, yeah. Yeah, it was a good little romp. I think again,
yeah.
like we said, I think RoboCop has a bit more going on, but they're both good films. This one's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, and Ronnie Cox is just always fun as a villain.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
just
always
so
a fan
cool.
of Michael Ironside. He's just
Mm.
the quintessential 80s villain.
What else
80s
is he
into
in?
90s. I know him from Highlander 2 and and other things. He's just so ubiquitous. I can't even think of anything
Yeah,
else.
he's just one of those guys who just shows up and he's always the villain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was he also in RoboCop?
No, they were
No.
considering him for RoboCop for a while, if I remember.
For the role or for the part that ultimately was played by Red Foreman?
For the role of RoboCop.
I
Oh,
was
wow.
thinking of Red Foreman.
See,
though.
that wouldn't work
That's what I
because
was
he looks too evil.
Mm.
Well, they cover most
Um,
of his face as RoboCop.
Yeah,
So-
that's
Mm.
Peter.
And come to think of it, what's his dude that actually played RoboCop? He looks pretty
Peter
fucking
Weller?
evil too. Yeah, Peter Weller.
See, Peter Weller
Yeah.
when he has hair doesn't look evil. Like when he's Murphy. When he's RoboCop without the helmet, without the hair, he looks kind of scary. But then when it's just his jaw, he seems trustworthy enough. I also think they made his lips extra pink for some reason. Because I remember them as weirdly pink, and I think it was to make him seem less threatening. Because he's like a doll
Well, he is a robot
and a
and
cop.
a cop. He's a RoboCop.
Fuck,
So
does
Michael
that mean-
Ironside. Does that mean what?
Is RoboCop a bastard?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Although he breaks free of his programming at the end, so maybe not. We don't know. After the ignoring the bad sequels that missed the point, Murphy may have been like, well, I'm done being a robot cop and a regular cop. I'm gonna go run a McDonald's. And then he was robo-manager.
But he still shot people's dicks off.
That's the important part.
Well, yeah, because you have to defend yourself in fucking future Detroit, and
Especially
You know,
at McDonald's.
if someone's gonna try to rob your till, you're gonna fucking keep them from doing it.
If you're watching this video, we've just had our dick shot off in the Detroit McDonald's.
Thank you, Caitlin. Amazing. I think that's the perfect thing to end on.
It is.
Alright, well, if you liked that and you want to hear more, that's too fucking bad, because that's all you're going to get about Total Recall. But, if you like Star Trek flavored things, we do that every week, except when we're doing this. You know what I mean.
Most weeks.
Most of the time. 99% of the time, it's Star Trek. And right now, we're working on Deep Space Nine, so if you dig Deep Space Nine, you should check that out. If you don't, because you're wrong, you could check out TNG and TOS and the animated series, which we've previously covered.
Don't
And in
watch
the
the
future,
animated series.
We're going to talk
Don't.
about the rest of it, too. We're going to go on a voyage to Voyager. We're going to follow the faith of the heart and Enterprise and whatever the fuck else comes out.
Don't
Basically,
you groan at Enterprise. It has its flaws, but it's beautiful.
I think
This
we're
podcast will
calling it
never
the
end.
theme song.
Oh, yeah, well, the theme is bad.
I don't even know that I've heard it.
You
I
have.
probably have
I
heard
know.
it.
You
I
have.
know. Caitlin. I know. Caitlin, that Chris has shown it to you.
It's a Rod Stewart song. You've probably heard it either way.
Oh, I like Rod Stewart. Hot legs! Alright. Anyway, if you want to follow us, you can find us on SoundCloud, Google Play, nope, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, yes. You can also find us on Facebook by searching for A Star to Steer Her By, because that's the name of our podcast. Didn't mention
yeah.
that. Star to Steer Her By. You can also find us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast. We have a website at sshbpodcast.cam. Currently our Tumblr, maybe someday a website devoted to Total Recall. Who knows?
Yes. Okay, that's a good way to do
The
it.
videos of me doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions. Beep, 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 beep. I don't know what episodes we're talking about next week because it's the future. Don't worry about it. And I have been Caitlin.
I have been Jake.
This has possibly been Chris, but I can't be sure.
If I recall correctly, this is Ames.
Am I Liz?
No.
Oh.
Maybe.
I'm Quaid.
Dun 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 dun.